Leeroy watched the strange, timid woman limp walk away and felt quite befuddled by the encounter. He turned towards his desk and looked down at the moon moss and letter in his hand. It was a strange plant to give someone, moon moss, in that it wasn't typically seen outside of the caves it thrived in. Its dense structure was made up of plump patches of miniature leaves that were a robust green. These patches supported fragile white flowers the size of the tip of a dull pencil. His blue eyes scanned the moss's intricacy. There were blooms that were halfway unfurled as if they were peeking out to see if the sun had gone down. What an ingenious little planter, he thought. He marveled at its craftsmanship. The gray cloth fabric that made the shade cover was wrapped around a triangulated twig structure that permanently shaded the moon moss. It was sewn to perfection, and something was glowing underneath it. The small umbrella was held up by a stick that had been seamlessly weaved into the planter's structure, and around that stick was a small piece of parchment that was secured by twine. He set the planter and the letter down on his well-arranged desk and peered under it. A small moonstone, the size of a pebble, was secured under the fabric, glowing, giving light to the moss below. It was extraordinary and inventive. Preferring cleanliness and organization, it was the first plant he had ever brought into his office. Again, his thoughts went back to the letter, his curiosity growing. What did she have to say that couldn't have been said right there just a few moments ago? He grabbed the blank envelope and opened it with his letter opener. He stabbed the letter opener down into its perfectly rounded stone. It was folded 3 times. He unfolded it. Dear Mr. Major Joy, 8 years ago, you willingly sacrificed some of yourself to save me. Because of that, I have been able to experience the following: a blue sky, a warm breeze, laughter, the smell of a newly blossomed flower, a warm bed, the sweet scent of grass, a gushing stream, fresh water, bread, delicious food. But most of all, I have received much kindness and love from my parents and friends. I deserve none of it. Thank you. Talilia Jewel Yvette. It was her, the little girl with a severed leg, covered in blood and close to death. And she was thanking him. But why? He only did what any normal person would have done. He was much younger back then, and it was strange, but he hadn't thought of that night or that girl until now. He read it again. The handwriting was pristine. He read it again. The letter seemed flat, rehearsed. The words in the letter did not fit the woman who was just in front of him moments before. It left him feeling odd. Leeroy took to his seat and gently untied the scroll of parchment attached to the plant and laid it out over the map that was on his desk. It was instructions of some sort. Moon moss. Moon moss cannot endure life in sunlight and needs to sustain a dark or shaded lifestyle accompanied by the light of the moonstone. This is because caves are its natural habitat, and moon moss flourishes when its neighbors are the bright and brilliant moonstone. It's happiest in a moist environment, so do please keep its soil wet to the touch. It is a peaceful plant that finds a sedentary life to be most pleasing. Maximum sunlight per day is 1 hour. Moon moss has no known medicinal purposes that I have found. However, it is believed that it purifies the air, and I have discovered that it's most useful on open wounds, at least until they can be properly bandaged. A sedentary life, huh? He had never known a plant that lived an active life. It almost seemed that this note was written by a completely different person, though the handwriting was the exact same. The entire experience was just as odd as his experience of speaking with her. The girl from the river house, he said softly to himself.